London, the hub of underground music. Fabric, one of London's most respected clubs, had their licence revoked by the council in September. This was due to the death of 2 teenagers who overdosed on drugs.
Some of the problems nightclub culture is facing, which is drug abuse in clubs. Whether or not that's a bad thing, I'm still on the fence, but at the same time, reforms need to be taken. We need to make sure that people don't die in clubs. I think it's a really bad thing to happen.
In 2005, there were over 3,000 nightclubs in the country. Last year, this number dropped below 2,000. Will this trend continue? What will happen to London's nightlife?
They've managed to close Fabric. They'll probably be able to close any other club if anything happens, which means that I feel like a lot of people are scared that this is going to happen, that more of them are going to close and that we're going to end up with a really limited amount of clubs where we can go and DJ or people can go to enjoy it out.
Clubs like Fabric act as an unorthodox social hub for the underground clubber. Shutting down these venues is detrimental to youth culture today and a big loss to London's nighttime economy.
And I do believe, for example, the closing of Fabric and, as I said, other clubs, it's making people unite, and it's differentiating as well the people that want to be part of the underground scene because they believe in what the underground scene gives them, and they give back. It's a mutual thing.
Fabric opened opportunities for DJs around the world. In light of the legacy it leaves behind, disheartened youths have come together to save Fabric. Can the passion for underground music disrupt the risk of increasing closure?
Listen.
Fabric's closure was a devastating loss for DJs and artists.
I've only been here about 3 years, but what I can see is just clubs are closing, which is really sad because, for example, Fabric was my dream to play there, and now that it's closed, hopefully it'll open up again, you never know. But those are the kind of things that you see, the nightlife is really important because you see people, especially in London, because it's so incredibly expensive to live in. The nightlife is very important to kind of keep the balance, and the reason people live in London and pay such high prices and cost of living is because there's so much to do. But thank God, well, I heard that Sadiq Khan just elected a new night mayor, so hopefully that will change things. Well, I feel like in London there's just so much competition because there's so much going on and so many incredible artists that play every weekend that I feel like promoters and just in general putting up a night, you need to have big names and people are forgotten.
So let's go. So yeah, basically this is the TRC. And here we go. Chris is in dance studio, massive. And then over here we start the Dog Studios. Come on in.
Is that your glass, the glass one?
And then the Dog Studios, we wanted to create basically a community that gives to the industry except of taking.
It's easy to say the UK is the musical hub, but in reality, it is London. And no one can survive in London. We both have to have a full-time job and finish work like anyone else just to make music. But we know that if we work hard enough and making music in London, our music can come through to the people we care the most about, even if it's to a small scale within the underground.
Facing some trouble lately in the London scene. In my opinion, it is changing, and especially in London, obviously we saw the closing of Fabric hate that, and we saw many other clubs closing all throughout the UK. It has created a very important impact into the UK economy. If you even knew the amount of tourism, and when I say tourism, is people that flight or took the Eurostar from Paris to London just to see this act. People tend to just focus on Fabric all the time. It's not just Fabric.
No.
Fabric is one of them.
Yeah.
There's many other venues that haven't had the chance to create such a marketing campaign or create such a fantastic awareness.
Yeah.
But there is many other venues from Glasgow all the way to London that has experienced the same kind of situations.
London nightlife is definitely changing. I think it's been quite a tricky year for clubs in London. I think it definitely has an impact on me. I mean, I never got to play in Fabric, which is a real shame, I think, because it's where a lot of the music that I love and listen to started off. So the fact that I'm never going to get to play there is a real shame. But at the same time, I'm really optimistic of the future because for my generation, there's going to be, you know, brilliant new places to listen to music and to experience all the same amazing things that we would have got out of somewhere like Fabric. I only wish that society could change their view on how they view nightclubs and how they view the whole scene, really, because it's sort of condemned over the actions of a few people. I think, you know, the climate is definitely changing, you know, but it's raised awareness of some of the problems nightclub culture is facing, which is, you know, drug abuse in clubs. Whether or not that's a bad thing, I'm still on the fence. I think we've got so many cultures here in London. We've got, you know, people of all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, and that's why it's become such an amazing place. I think the music that comes out of London is so reflective of the people that live there. So I think that's probably why the music is so interesting in London, because, you know, we've just got so many great different influences and so many different musical styles merging together. The difference between clubs in, say, Sheffield, Birmingham, Manchester to clubs in London, musically they like different sounds. Up in the north there's a real bassline movement going on, and so garage and bassline has sort of transformed into its own sound, especially in somewhere like Sheffield, which has the niche sound led by someone like Jamie Duggan. It's a real iconic sound, and it's so specific to that city. Whereas in London, we've got grime. That's something that's so, you know, so typical of London. So I think each city has its own sort of sound. With Manchester, you've got acid house, and that even filters through until to the music that we listen to today in Manchester. So yeah, I think each city has its own sort of style. When a nightclub gets shut down, the people that go there, the ravers, they're still there. The demand is still there. So the fact that Fabric is shut down is obviously really sad, because it was a great place and there are some really, really fond memories of, you know, that wonderful club. But of course there will be other clubs to go to. There'll be new clubs springing up, because people love music and nightclub culture will never go away.
And then I want to say just a last thing, man. Love music, stay put, stay strong.
That's your game, man.